pleasure to see you all here at this special debate for the Gavel Club speakers. My name is Kerry Lynch, and I'm the founder and counselor for this group. And today we're going to talk about Toastmasters and the debate. We're going to see the kids putting their best foot forward. Gavel Club speakers began in January 2015. It's a group that I felt was really important to start because I've been a Toastmaster for quite a few years now, and I see the benefit that you get from being a Toastmaster. You become a better speaker and you become a better leader in the process. And why not bring this to the children? There is currently nothing for children through Toastmasters International other than coming forward and starting something like a Gavel Club. So here we have a Gavel Club. Now, the Gavel Club meets every Wednesday at 4:30 for an hour, right here, same time, same place. And what they do is work on three parts of their professional development. The first is preparing speeches. They go from 4 to 6 or 5 to 7 minutes. Some of the later speeches are 8 to 10 minutes. In those speeches, they work through a manual. There is a competent communication manual, and there are 10 speeches to go through. Those speeches include everything from working on how to prepare a speech and organize it, to how to use your gestures, your vocal variety, your words, how to inspire people when you speak, how to persuade people when you speak. So all those projects together bring forth a competent Toastmaster. Right now, we have 3 members who have achieved competent communicator status. That means they've gone through they've each gone through the competent communicator manual. And I'd like them to stand up. They are Nivid Soman, right there, and let's see. We have Nitish Kaza and Kerry Lynch, if you could stand up as well. When we started, we had around 10 members, and now we're up to around 22, so we have doubled in number, and I'm really grateful to the parents who have spread the word to make sure that their friends knew about this and they were able to bring their children. What I wanted to do was to make sure that the kids were able to move it up a notch. Instead of just doing prepared speeches, I wanted them to start using their critical thinking and start looking at things from both sides, as you would in a debate. So not only are there prepared speeches, but there's impromptu speaking. And that means that they can be asked a question, and then they have to answer it right there on the spot within 1 to 2 minutes. So that's part of the Toastmasters program as well. The last aspect of the Toastmasters Gavel Club is that they work on evaluations. So every prepared speech gets an evaluation from one of their members. Or they could evaluate the meeting itself. These are all valuable skills. I have some people to introduce. First, I want all the members of this club to stand up so you can be acknowledged. Thank you, and you may be seated. I also want to bring attention to my counselor assistant over there, Will Lee. Please raise your hand. Will Lee has helped us with the website. He also helped with this program that you have, and he's done a lot of behind-the-scenes work in addition to taking my place when I'm not here. So it's really wonderful to have him. He's a great asset. I also want to recognize any parents who are here that bring their children here on a weekly basis. If you could please stand and be recognized. Don't be shy. Yeah, parents, guardians, you know. Great. Wonderful to see you. Do we have any adult Toastmasters here? Please stand. Yes? Okay, wow, there's one in the back, okay. And I don't think we have any politicians here. Am I right? Any politicians? Okay. Our Toastmaster, who will be leading us through the debate, is Raghav Kher, and this is him.
So, good afternoon, fellow Gaveliers and guests. As a debate Toastmaster, I will guide you through the meeting, and Before we get started, there's just a few logistics. So the restrooms are right outside through the door on your left. We ask you that you do not come in and out while the people are speaking, and not to so that we don't distract the speakers. And if you must, please be quiet about it. There will be 1-minute breaks while the judges complete their ballots between each speaker. Also, please turn off your electronics and cell phones and flash photography devices so that the speakers are not distracted. There will be time at the end of to take photos. This program will be televised on Westford Cable Access TV, and the DVD of the program will be available after the meeting for $10 each. All parents and guardians will be asked to sign the consent form. Please see our Sergeant at Arms, Likita. Please stand up, Likita, and sign the form. Thank you for your cooperation. So the proposition of the debate is resolved: homework should be abolished. Resolved: homework should be abolished. Our two teams of debaters will be both arguing against and for the proposition. Team A will argue affirmatively in support of the abolishment of homework. Team A is Limas Natty and Kerry Lynch. Please raise your hand, Lee and Kerry. Team B will argue negatively in opposition that homework should not be abolished. Team B is Claire Zhang and Joshua Sun. Please raise your hand. The first part of the debate is constructive speeches. Affirmative 1, Limas Natty, will speak for 5 minutes. Then following, negative 1, Claire Zhang will speak for 5 minutes. Following after that, affirmative 2 will speak, Kerry Lynch, and Joshua Sun, negative 2, will speak for 5 minutes. Then we will move into the second part of the debate, the cross-examination and refutation, also known as the rebuttal and the refutation. Negative 1, Claire Zhang, will cross-examine affirmative 1, Limas Natty, for 3 minutes. Then affirmative 2, Kerry Lynch, will cross-examine negative 2, Joshua Sun, for 3 minutes. Negative 2, Joshua Sun, will then conduct refutation and summary. Affirmative 1, Limas Natty, will conduct refutation and summary following. There will be 1 minute of silence between each speaker so that the judges may mark their ballots and forms. After the final speaker, we will hold 2 minutes of silence so that the judges may complete their ballots. The ballots will then be collected by the Chief Judge, Roy Lee, and they will be counted in the hallway. There will be a debater interviews until the results are handed to the counselor, Mrs. Lynch. We will give out awards, take photos, and allow for our guests to make some brief comments about the debate. We will close the meeting with some refreshments. Chief Judge, are the timers and judges ready? Then let's begin the debate. Good luck, teams. Relax, enjoy, and have some fun. Just do your best. Now for the constructive speeches. Please welcome affirmative 1, Limas Natty. Leah will have 5 minutes to complete her speech.
Hello and welcome, fellow Gaveliers and guests. And my name is Limas Natty, and today I'm here to tell you why homework needs to be abolished. First, let's establish what homework is. We have both agreed that homework is any work given or assigned by a teacher to be done on your own time. The 3 main reasons I will be talking about on why homework should be abolished are that it causes stress, decreases the amount of free time you have, and there's disparity in the environments in which it is done. First off, homework causes stress. There has been a study done by the Washington Post saying that there's a negative relationship between students' amount of homework and their physical health, showing that stress is a problem. Now, you might not think stress is a problem because every day-to-day things cause stress, like going to work or having to get something done. But really, it is a severe problem. Kids today have anxiety, depression, can't go to sleep at night, or might even have to see therapists because they're so stressed out. Another study has been done by Duke University that 98% of the kids that do homework say it causes stress, showing that stress is a severe problem when it comes to doing homework. Homework also does not allow free time. A study has been done by the same Harris Cooper of Duke University that shows that the time spent doing activities or playing sports has decreased by 60%. More than half of the kids have the time has been decreased by 60% since 1981 due to the fact that kids have homework. That means 60% less time spent playing outside because of the fact that kids have homework. Now, if I have homework all the time, I might not have time to explore my interests or passions or participate in activities that I like to do on my free time. So a typical high school student has an average of between 2 and 4 hours of homework. That's without studying for quizzes or tests. So add an extra hour on for studying for quizzes or tests. If I come home and I have to do between 3 and 5 hours of homework, How am I supposed to say go to softball practice after, or go to piano practice, or practice learning a new language when I have so much homework to do and not enough free time to participate in activities I like or pursue my interests or passions? The final reason today I will be talking about that homework should be abolished is because there's disparity in the environments. Now, what I mean by disparity in the environments is when a teacher assigns you homework, say she assigned 3 different kids homework. She expects that homework to go out to the 3 kids, be completed, come back in, and be returned with around the same work product and mostly correct answers. But that's not exactly what happens. So let's take 3 different examples. Kid A will go home, and he'll go home to a single parent who won't be home, he'll be working, and kid A will go home, he'll be unsupervised, surrounded by things that are distracting, like his iPhone, his iPad, maybe his younger sibling, and he still has to try and get his homework done. Now, what do you think that work product's going to turn out like at the end of the day? Now let's think about another example. Kid B goes home. Kid B comes home, and his 2 parents are married, his father's out working, and his mom is a stay-at-home mom. She's a retired teacher. He goes home, he gets to spend the whole day with her. He's under guidance, supervision. He has any help he needs. And therefore, his homework product is going to be, what do you think that's going to be like? Probably mostly correct answers. Now, let's take one more example, Kid C. Kid C doesn't even come home. Kid C goes to 2 hours of football practice. And instead of coming home after those 2 hours of football practice, Kid C gets taken to his little brother's baseball game, because after that football practice, his parent has to drive his sibling around. So then he has to stay at his little brother's baseball game for 2 hours, until 7. After that, his mom doesn't feel like cooking dinner, so they go out to dinner for another hour. It's already 8 o'clock. By the time they get home, it's 8:30. Then the kid has to take a shower. After that, it's already 9 o'clock, and the kid hasn't even begun to think about doing his homework. Now, what do you think that homework product's going to turn out like in comparison to the others? That is why disparity of environments is a big problem when it comes to doing homework. And the 3 main reasons why homework should be abolished is because it causes stress, doesn't allow free time, and there's disparity in the environments. Thank you.
Please welcome -1, Claire Zhang, who will speak for 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Claire Zhang, and I will be talking about the side of not abolishing homework. We, the negative, negate the resolution that homework should be abolished. We agree with the affirmative's definition. Our first contention is that homework encourages one to explore subjects more fully than class time allows, and they can also apply their knowledge. Class time is limited each day, which limits the time to learn something. Homework allows students to explore more problems in their free time. It also allows them to become more immersed in the areas of study. It also allows students to apply their knowledge. For example, in Westford Academy, 9th graders who take honors bio have to complete a field journal. Doing a field journal applies the student's knowledge in a real-life situation. It also encourages students to think of maybe finding jobs or majoring in subjects that have to do with observing the world around them. Our second contention is that homework helps build on many useful skills. Teachers at each school have proven that homework helps develop positive study skills and habits, time management skills, independent working skills, and using resources to find information. These are all important skills to have. First and foremost, developing positive study skills and habits is useful for college. In college, when one has to read long passages or cram for upcoming tests, it is essential to have positive study skills. Time management is a skill that one will need for the rest of their lives. Whether it be school homework, business meetings, job interviews, or family trips, time management plays an important role. Next, learning how to work independently is important in the future because in some situations, one might not be able to get anyone's help. Last but not least, learning to use resources to find information is useful. This skill is useful when learning new things, working at a job, writing research papers, and even for debates such as this one. I know for sure that this skill came in handy when I was researching and preparing for this debate. Thank you for listening, and my partner Joshua will explain our last 2 contentions.
Please welcome affirmative 2, Kerry Lynch.
Good afternoon, fellow Gaveliers, parents, and guests. My name is Kerry Lynch, and I'll be showing you why homework should be abolished. Homework is a common expectation in our culture, unfortunately leading to unexpected and all too often aggravating consequences. My partner, Leah, explained very well the ramifications of stress with homework. Educators may be expecting too much from us. Children go to school for at least 6.5 hours per regular school day, for at least 100 days per year. That equals at least 1,170 hours of school. I say, let's learn what we need to learn at school when we are there. Then leave after school to the families to determine based upon the child's and family's needs and interests. As my partner Leah mentioned, homework stresses kids out, and there's no way around this fact. I want to add to our case the fact that homework can lead to sleep deprivation and a loss of free time. Dr. Craig Kanapari, a medical doctor who directs the Yale Pediatric Sleep Center, notes that sleep deprivation in teenagers is an epidemic here in the US, with up to 90% of teenagers not getting enough sleep on school nights. Dr. Kanapari explains, a few years ago, I had a 16-year-old come into the sleep clinic for insomnia. He was a hard-working student in a good school district. I would consider Westford also to be qualified as a good school district with hard-working students. I asked him to describe his sleep problems to me. I finish my homework at midnight every night, he said, and I can't fall asleep by 12:10 a.m. Each of his advanced placement classes had 1 to 2 hours of assigned homework per night, and he was not routinely finishing homework until 11 or 12 a.m. This may be an exaggerated case. However, let's do the math. The typical school day for a high school student in this country is between 6.5 to 7 hours per day, which should be plenty for learning, might I add. Most school districts start between 7 to 10 a.m. for high school students. Thus, kids are getting out of school between 1 to 2 to 3 p.m. Many students do extracurricular activities for a few hours after school and cannot start homework until after dinner, say 6:30 p.m. The maximum recommended homework for a high school student is 3 hours per night. For younger children, it is 10 minutes per grade. If the student goes to sleep at 10 p.m. and gets up at 6 a.m., a typical wake-up time for students around here, this allows for 8 hours of sleep. However, the typical teenager requires between 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep per night, so even a teen with good sleep habits is generally sleep deprived. In an article, To Study or to Sleep, the Academic Costs of Extra Studying at the Expense of Sleep, Kari Gillen O'Neill and colleagues studied the effects of staying up late on students. They studied 535 kids through high school. The average sleep time for these teens diminished from 7.5 hours to 6.9 hours of sleep from 9th to 12th grade. When they examined what happened why teens stayed up late to study or finish a project, they found results suggest that regardless of how much a student generally studies each day, if that student sacrifices sleep time to study more than usual, he or she will have more trouble understanding material taught in class and be more likely to struggle on an assignment or test the following day. After some suicides in a high-achieving California school district, Palo Alto, the community members started to ask whether kids were too stressed. One parent replied, "Our children can hardly have any free time. Even the weekends are booked with schoolwork, and this is not AP or honors, or accelerated. Students have too much homework and are being sleep deprived." With too much homework and other scheduled activities, children lose valuable free and unstructured time. Time we can use for creative pursuits, necessary fun, socializing, time to dream and discover who we are. You can add me to this study with the amount of homework and that I have and my fun after-school activities. I'm stressed out the majority of my waking hours. The bulk of my stress comes from the homework requirement. Let's face it, I'd rather dance, do art, play my harp, and socialize. But primarily, I want to relax, sleep, eat, and socialize with my friends, and importantly, spend quality time with my family. Oh yeah, also the Gavel Club. Gaveliers and guests, I ask you to implore to abolish homework. As scary as that sounds to many of you, because we will survive, no, we will thrive with schoolwork at school, where it should be, and fun and productive after-school activities, free time, and enough sleep is needed. Let's say, abolish homework.
Please welcome -2 Joshua's son, who will speak for 5 minutes.
Hello, Gaveliers and guests. My name is Joshua, and I will continue to explain our third and fourth contentions. Our third contention is that homework reinforces ideas learned in school. One might ask, why is it important to remember what we learn in school? The material we learn in school is important and is therefore applicable to future jobs. Homework is a good way to retain the information you have learned during class. Researchers say that humans remember 75% of what they learn when they practice it, but only 5% of what they learn in a lecture. Terence Sajowski, a professor at the Salk Institute for Biological Studies, states that when you first learn something, it goes to short-term memory, but when you practice it, it goes to more permanent, long-term memory. The more the information is repeated or used, the more likely it is to be retained in long-term memory. Researchers have also found out that when something was repeated over several times, it will cause your brain to store it in your permanent long-term memory. Homework is the perfect way to repeat and retain information. In Homework Research and Policy, Harris Cooper of the researchers at University of Missouri Columbia reviewed 20 homework studies conducted since 1967. Cooper found out that the average high school student in a class that gave homework did better than 2/3 of the students in a no homework class. In studies comparing the time spent on homework to achievement, most showed that students who did more homework had better grades and test scores. Our fourth contention is that homework allows teachers to see who is lagging behind or what subjects need to be covered more thoroughly. Some students are shy and will not speak up when they struggle in class. The Time magazine stated that over 50% of students are shy. Homework becomes a silent way to communicate to the teacher for those students. From the feedback of the homework, teachers can reach out to struggling students and help them. Another example is if almost every student messed up on one type of problem, it gives the teacher feedback that maybe he or she needs to go over that one specific subject. The final reason is that this saves the teacher from going over subjects that everyone already understands. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will have the cross-examination and the refutation, also known as the rebuttal and the refutation. Please welcome -1, Claire Zhang, who will speak for 3 minutes to cross-examine affirmative 1, Limas Natty, for 3 minutes.
So I am going to cross-examine Leah's first speech. Leah's first point was that homework causes stress. Stress is part of homework, yes, but kids through their homework learn how to deal with stress, which is very important because in the future, many stressful events may happen, and by learning how to deal with stress at a young age will help in the future. Leah's second point was that kids need more free time. But Kelly Wallens from CNN states that average American teen spends up to 6 hours on TV, social media, and other electronics and stuff. 6 hours is a lot of time. You could use that for homework. If you're saying you don't have enough time for other things, you might not be managing your time well enough. And also, free time comes with time management. So the more homework and the more you get better at doing time management, the more free time you'll have. Leah also said that there was disparity in the environments. So these environments also help develop skills. For example, Kid A the one with the distracting things around, they will learn to not be distracted, and in the future that will help them. And kid C, who has all the football and the baseball game and all the other things they have, they will learn important time management skills. And also, if you think you don't have enough time to do your homework, you can talk to the teacher. Teachers will be, they will be understanding, and they may lessen your homework. Just be courageous and talk to them about your situation, or maybe tell your mom to tell the teacher about your situation. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now welcome affirmative 1, Limas Natty.
Hello and welcome once again, fellow Gavaliers and guests. And I am up here to counter Claire the negative's points. First off, she commented that homework encourages kids to explore learning. I would like to point out that a man named Alfie Cohen, whom published 14 books, was featured in Time magazine, on Oprah, The Today Show, LA Times, hundreds of TV and radio programs, and who's known as an expert on human behavior, education, and parenting, said that homework, he made a compelling case that homework is not only unnecessary, but undermines a student's interests in learning. He points out that making children work what amounts to a second shift after having spent all day in school is not only frustrating, but turns learning into a chore. Alfie has surprisingly shown that claims of homework enhancing understanding or promoting better work habits are contradicted by both research and experience. The second point I would like to address is Claire said that homework helps build on useful skills. David Barstow from Harvard University commented that if kids haven't learned the concepts by the time they leave the classroom, the homework is pointless. The third thing I would like to comment on is Claire said homework builds skills such as time management, working independently, and using resources. I would like to comment on the fact that other things can teach those same skills. For example, doing a job or playing a sport or something. You can manage your own time, learn responsibility from that, and use resources when doing that activity. Also, Claire made a comment about it builds study skills, which are useful for college. I would like to comment that that is achieved from practice or repetition, and that does not necessarily need to be done at home. There has been studies that show that kids work more effectively under supervision and during class rather than at home. So technically, based off of that, it would be more effective if you had practice in class, that you would be more prepared for college than if you did the practice at home. I would also like to comment that not all people go to college and also are very successful. And if you don't know anyone that doesn't go to college and is very successful, I would like to provide one example. Mary Kay Ash, who is the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics and classified as one of the most influential women in business, did not go to college and is worth billions now. So that is not necessarily a requirement that you need to go to college, but either way, successful people go to college, and they did not necessarily need that so-called after-school practice. Okay, thank you.
Please welcome the positive 1, Joshua Sun.
Okay, so when Kerry says that there's a lot of school time to study and do your homework, well, that's not necessarily true, because some people may be really good at remembering, but other people may just be really bad at remembering what they learned in school. So they need to have homework to help them remind them of what just happened in school. Also, in a study that my partner and me talked about before, we said a study about how people only remember 5% of what they learned in a lecture. And when Kerry says about sleep deprivation, maybe the people who get sleep deprived need to get better time management. And even though that might happen, you only want to decrease, not abolish.
Please welcome affirmative 2, Kerry Lynch.
As Joshua stated before, homework reinforces what is learned in school. I think practice can be done in school, though. Practice can be redundant and boring and a waste of time when at home and doing it for an hour and having 25 problems about the same thing and doing it over and over, and especially if it takes a really long time, like in math, there's these really long problems, it can get really boring. The students should ask questions until they understand the material in the first place. I personally like to pay attention in class and understand things, and if I don't get it, I will ask my teachers what is going on that they are teaching us. And then once I understood it, the homework seems pretty unnecessary by then. In math, I've written random numbers to show I did the homework because my teacher doesn't really look any more than to see if we did it. And because I understand what's happening in class, I still have an A and get A's on all of my tests. So I think it's definitely possible. If you need more time to practice, maybe homework could be optional and just have these problems that, hey, kids, you can try this when you're at home. And if the student really wants to work on what they're learning, they can do those problems and understand things. My teachers are always willing to get asked questions and respond and help out any student that comes to them. You also mentioned that Joshua also mentioned that feedback comes with homework, and again, my teachers don't really read the homework. So it's not really feedback if they don't really see what's happening. They only get feedback when they look at the tests and pop quizzes and such, and they can use those to understand which things they need to really help the students on, especially for finals and midterms. Dealing with stress, also, you can deal with stress in extracurricular activities. This currently is giving me stress. Standing up, being in front of people, speaking. I'm learning how to deal with stress right now. Just push out words and get my ideas across, even if they don't always sound perfect. Time management with technology, that is a lesson to be learned by all people, especially in this modern era. But if you really try, you can get better at it. And personally, I struggle with it. I want to text people that I know, but I avoid it. And I work on avoiding texting people and at unnecessary times, and also enjoying the outdoors, as I am in Cirrus, which is an outdoor thing, an outdoor club that allows me to see things other than screens. I think that keeping school in school should be enough, and that homework should be abolished and leave students to develop as people and try other things such as this Gavel Club here.
That concludes our debate and speeches. Please allow 2 more minutes of silence as the judges fill out their final forms and ballots. At this time, we would like the ballot counters to exit the room and to count the ballots in the hallway. When you have the results, please bring them in written on a piece of paper. It has been a pleasure serving you as your Toastmaster this afternoon. At this time, I invite Counselor Mrs. Lynch to come up and conduct interviews and present the awards.
First, I want to thank our Toastmaster, Raghav Kare. He did a great job. Let's give him a hand. All right, so great job, and we had a great debate today, didn't we? Wow, they really rose to the challenge. And this is not something we do on a weekly basis. This is the first time they've done a debate. So let's give the kids a hand. I'd like to invite each of the debaters up and just ask them an impromptu question like we do in Toastmasters. So let's start with, we'll go from left to right. Miss Kerry Lynch, please, come on up.
Thank you.
Okay. Kerry, do you think that your teachers will lighten the load after this debate?
They'll probably keep on handing out homework the same way that they do. They may think a bit more about it, about how much homework they're giving and maybe possibly reduce, say, take off like a few problems for math, or for English, assign not 5 chapters to read per night, but maybe 1, which is something that I've felt in the recent, as my teacher had to cram in 3 books before this last term ended. And I think maybe he might decide to manage his own time and assign things to us at better throughout the term. I think he probably, or all of my teachers will probably not see this. And thus I don't think they'll change any of their habits anytime soon. But I hope that it might open their eyes a bit to see what it's like for some of the students to be given so much homework that they can't deal with, for those of us who have too many activities and homework.
Let's move on to Limas Natty. Well done. Okay, the next question is, do you really think that homework should be abolished, Lee?
Not necessarily completely abolished, but at least drastically reduced based off of the amounts that I've seen, the research that I've done based off of how the stress it causes and everything else. But just being a kid and thinking about like the positive benefits of homework, yes, there are some, and the negative benefits of homework, I think that homework should not necessarily be abolished, but definitely reduced. I think that kids would do better with less like homework that they would have to do on their hands, because the teachers would have more things that they'd be teaching in class, so there'd be less that they have to handle on their own, especially since at least I'm still in middle school, which is not really that young, but kids still need to be taught things. They don't just know off the top of their heads. So I think that the fact that the teachers would be providing more instruction and less kids on their own, so that the kids that needed it would get more assistance and they'd have like less trouble struggling on their own. I do think that homework should be reduced but not abolished. Thank you.
So they may not have agreed with what they were debating about, but that's not what mattered here tonight. Okay, our next person up here will be Claire Zhang. Claire, how much homework is too much?
How much homework is too much? Well, let's start with how much homework we get now. I think now is an okay amount, considering I actually now, like in the beginning of the year, I spent a lot of time on homework, but throughout the year I got better, and now I spend approximately 20 minutes only on homework, so I don't think that's too much. Leah's mad at me, but that's okay.
Wait till I said okay.
And so I think too much homework is when you spend so much time on the homework that you're tired and you don't even like really remember what you've done anymore. That's what too much homework is. So maybe let's say, okay, if one class homework takes you 1 hour, that is way too much.
The last person to come up here, let's have Joshua, our youngest contestant. He's only 10 years old. Given that you're 10 years old, how challenging was this first debate for you?
I guess it was pretty challenging because I've never been into a debate before, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people on like presidential debates and stuff, so I know how some of them talk, but I mean, I try not to, like, I feel like it's kind of challenging, but I mean, it wasn't that hard because I've been in like the Toastmasters for maybe a few weeks now, so I know a lot about speaking, so it was not as challenging as I expected. Like, I thought I was gonna be like sweating and all like, oh, but actually I feel fine because I was really prepared. So yeah.
All right, Well, to have this event be a success, there were a lot of participants, and I want to recognize each of them. First, I want to thank my assistant, Will Lee, for all his work on the web and the program and all the behind-the-scenes work that he's done, and the fact that he just chips in as much as he can on everything. So if you can please come on up here, Will. Okay. Just a second here. I have a little gift for you.
Wow. Thank you, Kathy.
All right. It's a pleasure. And then I want to recognize all the participants that were here tonight. We had the affirmative debaters. If you can stand up and come on to the front. We're going to have a nice photo opportunity.
Oh, fun.
You can stand right here, both of you. Good job. And stay there, and we'll have Claire Zhang and Joshua Sun come up. And now I'm going to lift up so you can see me. Okay, we have our debate Toastmaster, Gav Kerry. Hooray. We have our Chief Judge, Rory Lee. Okay, now here's a list of judges. We have Arhant Ganta, Savan Goli. Is Jeremy Wen here? We have Ayush Rajeshwar, Fiona Wang, and Caitlin Suhu. And I'm going to ask if you could hand these out when it's time, when we're done. I don't have them all yet, but we'll get them before everyone else is up here. And then we have our ballot counters, Ifa Liakath and Nivid Soman. Please come on up. We have our timers, Raghav Narula and Justin Noyen. So we have our president of the club. I want to recognize Nitish Kaza. Our videographers, Matthew Lynch and Gautam Giridharan. Where is he? There he is. At this time, I just want to give our president, Nitish Kaza, just a few brief moments to say a few words since he is our president. Please welcome Nitish Kaza.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Gavel Club is a great place. It's great because you get to, you experience competition along with fun. You make a lot of friends. And yeah, Gavel Club. Gavel Club, it's just 1 hour every week of entertainment, and where you get to. It is entertainment. It's where you get to enforce your speaking, and you practice impromptu speaking along with prepared speeches. And with my experience in Gavel Club, I remember when I first joined the club, I wasn't really social, I wasn't really a loud person. I was kind of a shy and non-social person. And Gavel Club changed me that way over the last 1.5 years. I improved my speaking, I guess. At least I've become a more social person. I've opened up to people. And yeah, that's how Gavel Club helped me. And all the kids who are here who aren't part of this club, I and the rest of the club, we encourage you to join the club and see if you can improve your speaking as well. Thank you.
I want to invite our second place winner, Team B, Joshua Sun and Claire Zhang. Congratulations. You did great. Okay, you earned the silver. Very good job. Okay, if you could stay up here. And now our first place winners are Kerry Lynch and Limas Natty. Congratulations. Yes. All right, now here they are. One for you.
Thank you.
One for you. Thank you. And if you can come over here. I don't know if any parents want to take any photos, but we're here if you need that. And that will conclude our debate today. We invite you for some refreshments. We'll just kind of take the bags off the refreshments. Please stay. If you have any questions, you can be interviewed. We'd love to hear some feedback on what you thought about the debate and also your thoughts about homework. So thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Hello, my name is Gavel. I'm in the room of the debating where a big debate happened. So, what is your name, mister?
My name is Nivid Soman. I'm a ballot counter.
Okay, so how do you feel about counting small pieces of paper?
I've been here since the club started, and I was hoping to be a judge, but it's fine being a ballot counter because you basically have the fate of the meeting in your hands.
So, which team did you expect it to win?
I expected the affirmative team, homework should be abolished, to win because, who really likes homework? And also, I feel like the affirmative team gave a better speech. When I was counting the ballots, it was a unanimous decision, 6-0.
What is unanimous mean?
Unanimous means everyone took one side. Yes, thank you. And also be sure to check out Gavel Club.
This time we have a judge from the debate. So, what is your name?
Fiona.
So, what was your opinion of which side was going to win?
At first, I actually wasn't really sure because I know that both teams will do really well. But at the end, after I heard the speeches, I wrote down all the main points of both teams, and I had to determine which one will win.
Okay. What questions were on the little piece of paper that you wrote on?
Mostly about how the affirmative proved their point of that homework should be abolished, and how the negative proved that homework shouldn't be abolished, and how it would help kids more than stress them out.
Okay. So, did you actually want to be a judge, or you want to be something really big?
Well, I actually did want to be a judge because I've never exactly been a judge before, so I just wanted to see how it felt.
Okay. So we're very thankful for having here. So now we have an actual negative person who spoke in the debate. So, what is your name?
My name is Joshua.
Okay. Which side do you think would win in this debate?
I thought that we were going to win because, of course, we're the best. Well, not sure. We are the best, but anyway, well, I kind of thought that they might win because most kids don't like homework and stuff. But I still thought that we would win because we had a lot of notes and, like, a lot of notes, preparation, and I called Claire like 25 times, so I was pretty prepared, but I didn't know that they were going to win.
So, were you nervous about this debate, or did you feel something else?
I felt like nervous and happy and excited. It was like a mixture because when I was nervous, I was like, I might like speak this thing wrong. And when I was happy, I was like, yay, this thing's actually going to happen after like 10 months. But then when excited part was like the same thing.
So, when you did much of your research, was it really boring and you feel like playing a computer game, or was it really interesting?
I think it was really interesting for me because it was my first time on a debate. So